I was here at 10 of 11, and I was like, what?
So always have.
Hello, everyone.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I looked at the, I
Sounds
I
like,
said, oh, that's it, it's the right day.
because I didn't, this was the one time I didn't set it on either. So it's like,
11:30 is a good time, it's a much better time than 11, but I
Yeah.
know what was in
and
my
Cece
head.
sounds right too. He just said,
good. I didn't know you had to take some.
yeah, because he met with me before we applied.
Oh, okay.
Talking about a different art project, and I don't know if we talked about SAC, but
Okay.
shortly after applying.
I guess. Morning.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. See ya.
Well, they had plenty of time, but I didn't.
Story of my life, I feel like.
Kidding.
I was just saying that I was a half hour early. I thought it was 11 for some reason. And went over to the library station, had an espresso, checked on the studio.
That's a little bit right.
Huh?
The station.
No, the one here
The new one?
at the,
Oh, the one
yeah,
that's-
I have a studio at the mill there too.
Oh, okay.
We're having some HVAC problems, so I wanted to check on that and ended up accomplishing a lot in that time. And,
We might have a guest this morning. A filmmaker who has a connection to CC Media, who's doing some filmmaking around the Echo Earth Globe. So I actually told her that the meeting was this morning. She may be able to show up
Cool.
or not. She's interviewing someone this morning.
She worked there at CC Media? or
She's one of their
former?
independent
Oh,
filmmakers,
okay.
you know, that
Yeah,
I'm not exactly sure what the structure is, but
yeah,
people are trained.
sure. That's how I got my start.
What? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I did first was volunteer there and get training.
It
Yeah.
sounds like a cool thing.
Yeah,
Hi, oh, thank you very much. Great.
and then I started working on
Want me to bring more?
the show there, which then led me to people that knew how I did it and how they interview and-
Wow.
Did you get one of these already?
No.
Thank you. I had, Linda bring them for the going around the neighborhood.
Sure.
Oh, Tony especially, you should think of Dr. Aaron too. Give him a
Yeah.
tell Aaron that Candace and tell him, yeah.
Do you have more?
Oh, I do, I should have brought more. Shall we run them and get some?
No, but can you give me a few more, Susan?
Sure.
Because there's a stand meeting tonight. I can get some.
The scan meeting.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
No.
I'm.
Oh, because it's Parks is on the agenda.
How are you?
Listen to this,
Okay.
two girls. They're doing this physics project with all this.
Yeah.
All right,
There's
so
some kind of. Anyway, I'll.
Are they the high schoolers?
Yes, yes.
I'm familiar with that, 'cause I'm doing all this part.
we come to past time, so after
Okay.
11:30.
Okay,
Just east of.
okay, yeah, I know where Bush Elementary is, yeah. Interesting.
We'll go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody to the Salem Public Art Commission for meeting for Wednesday, May 13th, 2026. The time is 11:33, almost 11:34. I'll go ahead and call a roll just to get things rolling. We have Suzanne Napak,
Yeah, Susan.
Susan Napak, Chris Darcy,
Here,
Krista Lauer,
Here.
Brian Hart,
Here.
Carl Roth.
Here.
And Jesus Escobar.
Here.
All right, we got a full house.
Hey,
All right. I'll turn the time over to Susan.
Okay, thank you for calling the meeting to order and introducing usually we go around and introduce ourselves, but we've already taken care of that, so we'll just introduce our visitor.
Linda Beerley, Salem Parks Foundation, and I would just like to take the opportunity to say thank you to everybody for helping us. Chris, thank you for putting our event on the city council or the council calendar or the city calendar. I'm trying to spit out. Thanks to both of you for coming, attending the event, and just for all the support. We really appreciate it. And I sent an email. So donations totaled $576.70. And we had 47 passports turned back in. And I included a photograph of the people that gathered at the end of the event in front of the globe in the email. And again, we don't have a head count. I would even hazard, how many people do you think were there? Maybe 100, do you think? Or is that over?
At the globe part of it,
Globe part of it.
I'd say 50.
50, okay.
I'd have to look at a photograph.
Yeah.
But I did think it was great
And
that,
Tony, I didn't include you, but I will, so you can see those photographs.
Okay.
I think it was great that the city reshared the Salem Parks Foundation photographs from the event on the city's channel.
Oh, good.
That was great. I saw it first thing this morning, and thank you, because that gets out to just a big wider swath, so it means a lot.
That's our communications team, so that.
Very, very
They're on
nice.
top of it.
Please
That's
pass
good.
on the thanks.
Thank you,
We'll
yeah.
do that.
Great, it was a really nice event.
It was.
Beautiful day, and the mayor, what's his name?
Roger Gurtenrich.
Yeah.
Where's his in Portland. Yeah, I think they're in assisted living in Portland.
Yeah, he really learned a lot about. the
He is
whole
passionate about that
evolution of,
project.
Yeah. Anybody that was there, I think, was very,
Oh,
the passion was transferred
Yeah.
to them.
Roger had actually sent an email that he wanted to have included in our meeting for today. We talked about the Eco Earth Globe. I don't know if now's a good time or wait till a little bit later or.
Why don't we just wait till it comes up on the
Yeah.
agenda?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay, public comment.
yeah, I commented.
Anybody else, public comment? We don't have any other public here. Okay, approval of consent agenda and the meeting minutes. I had one change to the minutes. There was something about cafe under update civic center call for artists. And then that cafe, that's actually a website, the cafe. I don't know what that was about, why that's there. That's the website where things get posted for artists, so.
But actually, I noticed the same thing. Cafe is actually a trademarked term for a software call to artists. The city elected to not use that, so we should probably just remove that.
Yeah, it really had nothing to do with.
Under the library labels, the correct spelling of the Hallie of Hallie Ford is Hallie.
Yeah.
Other than that, I thought they did fine. I would move approval of the consent agenda.
Second? Can we second it? And I'll approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay, great. Moving on. Okay, discussion items, just outreach. I just wanted to say that we did the presentation to council on the 11th. It was right, May 11th,
May 27th, or April
Yeah.
27th.
April 27th is when we did it, right? It was May 11th. Oh, that was when I went, that's when we had the, never mind.
That was Monday
Neighborhood,
night.
that was the neighborhood assessment. I was also up on
Neighborhood
stage then, anyway, okay. The 27th. And it was received really well, and we did have some questions about things which I'll raise later. But I have also already scheduled a neighborhood association presentation, because that was on our agenda for our project list for reaching out to the neighborhood associations. I'll be presenting to Can Do Neighborhood on the 19th. I've reached out to Highland. I thought I'm not gonna do a blanket reaching out because it could get kind of confusing with 17 neighborhood associations. But I wanted to bring it up today because we all should belong to a neighborhood association if we live in Salem. And if there is your neighborhood association that you would agree to present to, or we can do it together. You don't have to tell me right now, but I just want to float it in the air and we can get together and figure out a time when we can do it together. And other outreach efforts, I think that's it for now.
I think it would be good to develop, not today, a plan to go beyond the neighborhood associations. It is a relatively limited pool of people. So just acknowledging that.
Yeah.
I know my neighborhood is, considering the territory that it covers, the number of people who attend those meetings is very small.
We maybe I have a skewed view because we're the smallest, but we get the most people coming to our meetings.
It's very
25 people, 25, 30 people.
It's very uneven terrain.
Yeah.
That's my impression.
Well, there are other, we could make a list of the other organizations like Rotary and Salem, what is it called?
365
Main Street.
Main Street, Salem
Main Street, yeah, that's a great idea.
I think we should also just continue our efforts to lobby the city or make information that is timely for the Public Art Commission available to the city so that it gets out through the city channels, which reach just a wider number of people quickly.
And that seems to be happening.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm appreciative. I think we just keep feeding them things.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a suggestion for something that could go out regarding murals, but if there's time at the end of the agenda, I'll bring it up.
Okay. I did try the link on the city newsletter that said art tours, which I think is mislabeled anyway, and it didn't go anywhere. So I reported that just as an individual. They had a way to report it. And I haven't tested it yet, but I think they just have it going to boards and commissions now, is what they came back. So I think we'd like to get that fixed so that it does go to this back page. And maybe just say public art should be the label on there, not art tours, because there's really, there is I guess that one map that's on there, but it's kind of confusing. I think just public art would do it. Anything else about outreach? I will work on a list of the other organizations with Chris, and as long as we have the presentation, we may as well get it out there. We'll talk to people. Melcat's repair.
Well, I can comment on this. I happened to be down at the new Forge development, and I looked more closely at the Melcat's piece. There is the paint. It's a powder coated paint surface. There is chipping on the paint of the paint, both in the blue and the red sections. If you remember, the piece was not covered when the construction of that building started. The Keith Bondog-Wynn was the staff liaison. He was able to get the contractor to cover the piece. The piece was still exposed to the top. And now that all the fencing and whatnot has been taken down, you can actually see it's just chipped. I also noticed the second time I went back to look at it that it looks like someone, and I have a picture I can send to you, Chris. I'm sorry I didn't do it before today. It looks like someone may have taken a penknife or something and just could see where marks were made. And it's disappointing that this happened because this piece was repaired once before. It's not inexpensive, and it's not inexpensive. The good news is that corner is going to see a lot more foot traffic because most of the spaces in that kind of redevelopment have now opened. And the day I was there, it was good weather. There were some tables outside. They were rolling up the garage doors. foot traffic was lots of people coming in and out. It's great. It's exactly what people want to have happening on that corner. So, you know, we should just have it taken care of. Probably the city has a record of who did the repair the first time.
You don't have an idea of who that might have been?
I would have to look it up.
Okay.
And yeah, I'd have to look it up. Anyway, I'm reporting. I wanted to, it would be good if maybe you could just email us those condition reports. I think there's a template for reporting.
I think Chris is gonna be talking about that.
Okay.
Later on in the agenda.
Great, let's talk about it then. Because I'll talk about the Damian Gilly mural at that time.
Do you wanna make a motion for staff to move forward with getting estimates for repairing the Melcats?
Sure, I will second that motion.
Vote to approve?
Yes. All in favor?
I
Anyone opposed or abstaining? Okay.
Sorry, Carl is out for some reason.
Carl, are you
Hey,
there?
Carl, can you hear us? Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I
about
Okay.
don't know what happened there, but I'm back.
that. So we just did there was a motion to have the Melcats, for staff to go to, get quotes for repairs for the Melcats, piece. There was a second and then the vote, and just, are you voting in favor or against?
In favor, yes.
Favor? Okay, gotcha.
Just along those lines, I mean, we do have a list of a lot of pieces that do need repair and attention, so I would say that we should probably move on a lot of those as well. I know that they're not on the agenda at this point, but maybe next time we could.
I do have a couple of pieces to add to this type of repair work topics. One is the Elaine Cutter Howell wrap.
Oh, yes, right.
They've my companion over in urban development, Derek MacArthur, looked back at the contract for repairs. The repair on that would be $538.32 per the contract for the company that did the wraps originally to make that repair.
Well, it was damaged during city repairs and things that they were working on. I mean, is that something? And also those wraps were done by urban development. I mean, does that come out of our spec budget at this point? Are they now part of the collection?
No, they're, because it's a reproduction.
So,
Okay. I wasn't sure if the public art fund is going to be covering that or if urban is covering that.
I think that because they initiated the project, that they've got the files and everything, that they would be responsible. Someone should do a walk by, maybe I could do it later. When I drove by, it looked like basically it had been fixed, but I was in a car and I would need to go back. You know, the good news is that the streetscape work is proceeding. And I've been on several corners and the work really looks great. So we want these things to look great. But it seems like my understanding is that the cost of a single wrap is about $600. So they may need to replace the wrap. But I would think that perhaps the city's contractors would be responsible for that repair. I know the city is self-insured. Maybe this cost may be well below any kind of threshold, but I do think that urban development did pay for this and they should fix it. That's my gut reaction.
yeah, the photos that I took, and I think I sent it to you, it looked like portion of it was cut out. And then there was like one of those stanchion things that were leaning right against it. So there wasn't regard for protecting it while that work was going on.
So originally what I was told is that there was a second utility box right next to it.
I see.
that had been removed.
Nice.
So,
And so they had done the
That's
wrap
good.
before they removed the second
I
utility
see.
box right there.
Mhm.
And so what was not covered or wrapped
Mm.
is the missing piece where the other utility box had been, has now been removed. So that's why you're seeing.
oh,
It did sort of look like that, like something was there
Like it was
before and that
cut out
not
for
there.
the specific.
Right, but there were also some other signs of damage that I noticed too, and then that thing was just leaning right
Yeah.
against it, so. And it's not part of the collection, so, maybe check with them and
Okay.
get back to us,
I'll
because
go
we
back to
really
them.
do want it, to look good, especially, that's a prime spot too.
yeah, it is.
And then the other one, is the quote that was included in the packet for the, replacement of the art monitor
That kiosk.
kiosk thing. So the kiosk had died, and it's an integrated piece where the computer system and the touchscreen
Mhm.
monitor is integrated together. So when the whole thing went down, they're basically saying it what doesn't function anymore. That's the reason why. So
Sorry.
So the solution is that the IT person for the library has found a 55-inch touchscreen monitor screen. And then he has a code in here that they provided with an electrical rise and lower TV stand on wheels that can be locked in place and move around. We found actually another place that has a very similar setup, but at a lower price, $5,000. And then library IT has an extra computer that they would then donate to the process of getting that back up and running with a whole new stand. And this is approximately what it would cost, between $3,000 to $4,000.
Wasn't that part of a grant?
Yes.
We were understood that it was a grant that the library got and that the IT person got. And so I thought it was a new thing. So now was there a warranty on it? I mean, is it?
I can ask about a warranty if there was one. It doesn't sound like that was an option. I don't know how long that's been there. Most warranties only last a year.
Yeah. I think this is what I know about this screen business. The fellow who's the IT guy at the library submitted a grant proposal to the Library Foundation on his own to create this kiosk to explore art at the library. This was a single guy's idea, didn't happen through SPAC. I don't know what the library staff involvement was. It got installed, it's awkwardly sited, it's not staffed. The content is, I would describe it kindly as weak. The photography does not really work. I have friends who went into the library for months and just tested it, like, let's give it a whirl. It barely worked. The content does not do the collection justice. The photography is terrible. So, and then the gentleman at the library really didn't think ahead as to who was going to create content for a system like this, which could be quite robust, could be tied into library collections. There could be, you could have short vignette interviews with the artists who are still alive. It could be something that it is not right now. The location, I think, is terrible. And before, if you're suggesting that's back, pay $4,000 for something new, I suggest that before we do that, we have used one of our meetings to actually talk about what it would take to do this properly. So some better written content. Krista has written content for the social media, city social media channels. All that content could be migrated to this kiosk. It's already done. Photography is already done. That would be an easy first step. I just wrote content for the 22 works of art at the convention center. That took me 3 weeks. That city owns some of those pieces, that's done. And I also think it would just be, if this thing could be cited elsewhere in the library, it wasn't like in a hallway, which quite frankly doesn't get a lot of traffic, it would be an improvement. And also giving the library staff a fam tour, you know, here's how it works. Here's how you can promote it. Maybe you could be part of their, you know, social media stuff. But right now, it's a very much of a missed opportunity. Yeah, I mean, maybe the teen council at the library could be involved, you know. It's just,
Well, currently it does go out to this, to the city's website where those pictures are stored. That's where that location goes to.
It's not really working.
But it was,
That's
the monitor itself was just too slow to make the
Right.
transition on the pictures and stuff like that.
Right.
So this would be upgrading the computer system as well as having a new monitor and stand. And it's, because it's a wheelable stand, it can be moved anywhere throughout the library locations.
Does the library already have a setup like that for other things, for events, for things that they present?
They have their own TV monitors, like downstairs, you'll see them that shows what kind of things are happening at the
Right.
libraries. Informational type stuff, yes. They are not interactive. In other words,
Mhm.
it's public can't go up and touch them and
Right.
scroll through them or anything like that.
But they're tied into
But they're tied
some
into,
kind of their IT, their computer
Yeah.
system.
it's
So would a new monitor then be just tied into their system there? And go and link to the city website?
it would link to the city's website where
Yeah,
these where this particular photo slideshow is residing.
right.
There is potential because the computer system to be able to add more or
Yeah.
give more to be able to function with that, whatever the website
Yeah.
is.
My gut response, I think that would be fabulous, but it sounds like a huge undertaking and that there's so many things that we need to just kind of housekeep and, you know, our own database and that it just sounds like too big of a project to me unless somebody wants to take it on and, I don't think I don't know how many people would actually even use this. I think we don't have other signage. We could use other signage in the library with QR code to link to the city website if that's all that's gonna be. If somebody's interested, I think we could use other signage. For now, I would not want to invest in this right now until we figure it out.
it could be really great. It's not now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if this is designed to link back to the city website for the small number of works that are on that site, it's really not good. The stuff on the city website, it's poorly written. It doesn't tell you, it's just poor, it's bad content. And it wouldn't be, it just takes some human power. Like the copy needs to be rewritten, the work needs to be rephotographed. And then if this is really designed to be a public asset, how are people who walk into the library, who would know that it's there, unless it was promoted?
Well, I still kind of view this as outreach for a public art.
It could be. Right now, it would be like giving somebody a bad roadmap. Like I agree that it could be outreach, but unless it's better, it's just not doing us any favors.
Well, it's all we have for now, and there is that map, that does show where all the artworks are, and it's all we have for now, and that's a whole nother issue of improving that.
Yeah,
I'm working with the city on I know you were saying that they're overhauling some of the IT stuff in the city.
So there's a
Is
lot of,
that included in sort of redoing that, or how would we even work with them on that?
So, yeah, the city is currently working with changing there's some major programs that are citywide enterprise software packages that are being developed and being implemented. So this would not be one of the priorities at this point in time, but that's not to say that it wouldn't be something that that could be worked on later once the new system is up and running for the city's payroll and everything else that they're doing.
Because you were saying we should just hold off on the whole cleaning up the database and updating that until that was done. I mean, I think that's a priority right now. The database still says Library Foundation, it's not complete, it's kind of a mess.
Yeah.
So when is there an ETA on when they're gonna have at least that finished so we could get that cleaned up?
Are you talking about the database itself being cleaned up? I don't have an ETA on that. I'm not even sure who's working on it. It may be me as the staff liaison. I don't know if I have an IT person that works on it or not.
Well, maybe Krista can talk more about that when we get to that part of it. I know she's talking about condition reports, but she had also looked into various software and things that we could use. I think what we were talking about was meeting with the IT people and saying, this is what we would like, to have functionality we would like to have for the database. So that's been kind of stalled because of working on that.
Right.
So
And all the other pieces that we got going on.
okay, all that under no cats prepared. So I guess do we want to vote on whether to proceed with this, or it sounds like nobody's that enthusiastic about doing it? Should we just?
Could I suggest that before we vote to approve this, it would be really great to just have a small meeting with the folks at the library and their IT guy, and one or two of us to just say, what are we trying, what do we really want to accomplish here? Because that conversation, this never started with, here are some big goals that interlock with everything else we've got going on. And if the library says, whatever, like this was, I think the Library Foundation gave this project $2,000, if I'm remembering correctly. It was called a sprinkles grant, where I think they sprinkle little bits of money to support somebody's idea, but there was never any thought through. And so as I said, this could be a really cool thing. But right now the content is just not strong. So I would suggest talking to the library to just see how could this be better? I mean, there might be a small grant to have someone help with some of this. I mean, not from the Library Foundation, but from a small arts grant to help make this more robust. So I suggest that could we just delay acting on this for a month? That might just buy us a little bit of time. And I do think, I hadn't thought about this before, but maybe some of the younger folks who are pretty active, get involved with the library on the teen level. They might have some ideas that would be worth hearing. Maybe they don't, but it could be a good place to start.
The last time I was there, the art hall was kind of undefined.
Yeah.
There were a couple of pieces from the collection there.
They're on one side of the wall.
But I don't think there was anything else there. There might have been a community project or something. So I think it might benefit us to actually meet with the library, whoever I don't know who's in charge of that art hall or what they're doing with that.
It is a community. The hall has two sides. The side with the Friends shop has pieces from the collection, some of which I know are not there permanently. Because they relate to Public Works, and they should actually be at the Public Works building. The other side is reserved for community proposals that come from people in the community. The quality of the work is pretty uneven. It's not installed professionally. The labeling is not installed professionally. I don't believe there is a discrete staff person who is providing guidance for that. You can come, you can put your work up. It could be a lot better, but it's what it is.
It used to be somewhere else too, wasn't it?
The Oregon Artist Series Foundation programmed that space for
Yes.
2.5 years.
Right.
There was professional signage, there was professional installation, there was promotion, there was information. All of that is gone.
I would say the goal might be to find a way to promote the collection that's at the library so that people even know it's there. It's a good spot when people come in, they kind of see where that art hall is with some signage or something, whether it's the kiosk if we ultimately go with that. But, you know, I talk to people and they don't even know that the art collection is there. Because it's all kind of behind the stacks, a lot of it, or in other areas. So I think a goal would be to really promote that, you know, that the collection is there, however we plan to do it.
The library director controls everything in that building. That is his or her responsibility. And so helping the library understand that the library experience could be enriched, but with more information would be a good place to start.
Yeah, and they were very receptive to the art day, very helpful, very excited about it. So I think the door is open for that. Okay, anything else about that? Update. Civic Center, call to artists.
Things are moving along. The city does expect to complete the Civic Center seismic retrofit and have staff people back in the building in early February 2027. We had, I think, 26 responses, more or less, to the call for artists. I wasn't able to tell you the names of the artists at the last meeting. I didn't bring a list of those artists with me today. We did have the selection committee met. We narrowed the field down to 9 finalists. One of those finalists has dropped out. We conducted an on-site visit to the Civic Center, and artists were invited to attend that. There was a virtual meeting before the on-site meeting. I think all of the artists and their colleagues, with the exception of maybe of 1 or 2, participated. A smaller number actually went into the site, where we had a really, I think it was a very good session. Walked around. The artists were then invited to submit any questions that they had regarding that site visit or next steps. Those questions were submitted to the city. The city responded with answers to all of those questions, and that went out to everybody. We are now scheduled for in-person or virtual interviews with those finalists the middle of next week, next Wednesday and Thursday. And there are 45-minute blocks of time. And then I'm assuming that we'll continue our scoring and get down to either 1 or 2 artists. There may be, another round of interviews, but people did submit for both the elevator wall area and the freestanding sculpture site in the center of that atrium. it was actually great to be in there while the roof was off the building. Because you could see up to the sky, and
Panels, yeah.
it was really good. I mean, the crew that is working there, they seemed very focused. The artists were all focused. They asked lots of questions, and I think what will be kind of interesting for public art moving forward is that now to the north side of the building, hopefully those planters will get replanted. The artwork in Mirror Pond looks good. There's now a proposed trail that will take you from the north end of the Mirror Pond area underneath the bridge that will take you into Riverfront Park, and you will be really at the nexus of the Echo Earth Globe. And the amphitheater, the trail, the walkways going north, the new playground that's under construction, and then down to the wilder part of the city's park system, Minto, Brown. But the fact that you could be at the Civic Center, move down, go through the park, and then there you will be at the Echo Earth Globe, magnifying its importance for attention. Anyway, city staff's been doing a great job of managing the process for the Civic Center. So that's if you have questions, I can answer them, but that's my short report.
I did just want to add that one of the artists, two of them actually had questioned this, but one of them actually stepped away from the project for various reasons, but one of the reasons seemed to be about the copyright issue that was in the RFQ. It did say that the city would retain copyright. And they were like, oh, this is something that used to happen years ago. It's not something that you see often anymore in RFQs. And the response that came back from staff was, oh, that's negotiable. So it may not necessarily be the case. So I know we've been talking about copyright in terms of other artworks, murals and things, and we had never really heard before that
It's
clause
actually-
is negotiable.
It's
So
not. So the staff person did not realize that it was in code. So it is in the Salem Public Art, in the Salem Revised Code, that the copyright is retained. That's why we're doing the talking and trying to identify how we can change that.
well,
But
at this point,
as far as
sorry.
what city staff said, they did not have the understanding that it's already in code that it has to be given.
Have we told?
Code states it's in there.
Well, at this
Do we need
point,
to tell
all of
the
the
current
artists who
artists?
are applying, I'm sorry, Carl, did you want to?
I was just gonna say, have we notified the artists that it's,
we can't hear you very well. Can you?
sorry, my mic's all the way up there. You can go on, I'll try to fix it.
At this point, all the artists that are applying have gotten the message that is negotiable. There hasn't been any reduction of that. So that's something that they should know.
Well, yeah, in case they're relying on that part.
Yeah.
That would be
so I
bad.
don't know if
To
Aaron
spring that on them last
and the
second.
staff needs to reiterate to them that that's the case.
Yeah, I'd shared that with Aaron after that email came out.
You know, it was basically they were saying, oh, you could just cross that part out.
Which is what most artists do in those cases,
Yeah.
and then just sign the agreement. Well, that's a longer I think we don't have time this morning to resolve that, but I do thank you for putting it on the record, Susan. And I hope that Aaron will address that.
Underneath the tunnel
Yeah,
bar.
I agree. Carl, did you want to say something though?
Can you hear me any
It's on the
better?
Committee to,
I can.
Okay.
I don't think we need to see it, Chris, at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. We can continue this discussion later. Sorry for the difficulty.
Can you guys hear both of us?
Yeah, is
Both
there
quiet.
maybe there's a
Yeah, I can hear Krista.
Try again.
Can you get closer to your mic, Carl?
Sort of. It sounds like I can hear Krista really well. It sounds like she can hear me really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be our settings.
Yeah, it might be.
Is there any,
Can you all hear me okay, or am I
No, you
allowed
both
to?
sound the same, very
pretty
quiet.
faint?
Okay,
What about in the bottom?
interesting. Let me,
That's probably on your end then.
I'm sure.
So I've got the TV and the.
We increased the volume, let's see.
Okay, how about now?
It's still the same.
Same. Just scream.
I'll turn my volume down.
We can
We
revisit
hear
it
you
later.
if there's something you want to say, if you say it loud enough.
Okay, no, we can move on from this for now, and we'll
Okay.
bring it up at a future meeting.
All right, we'll move
Just to
on.
the left of that computer, yeah, right there, yeah, is it that? Click that. It doesn't give us any different options of another source.
That looks like
would
it's
be-
output,
That would
not
be our,
input.
yeah, that would be our side of things. I've got the volume at 100 and I got the TV volume at
Right.
100.
All right, well, anyway, I guess we'll just,
Yeah.
So
we'll
how's
move
it
on.
goes for now?
Thank you, Chris, that was a good report. Any other questions about that?
Just a clarification, how many finalists are there again? Now?
There
9.
were 9. Now, one person dropped out. There was one person was dropped out, but I think he is back in over the copyright issue. That's why
No,
it's important.
he dropped out for other reasons, he just dropped out.
No, that was different. There were 2 people.
Okay.
One, Pete Beeman, is the one who raised the copyright. Another fellow dropped out because I think it was too much for him. I think he was from Market City.
Okay,
I think we're down to 8.
it's 8, right. I have the agenda, the list here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. We have 5 of them on the 21st and 3 on the 20th.
That are scheduled for their meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Review. And I'm sorry, just how does it work? See, because there's a subcommittee that you 3 are on, and then you're interviewing them, and then you guys kind of select the person that you like the most, and then it's kind of presented to us. I'm just wondering when we get to see the art and the person, and the artist and things like, just because I'm curious.
That's a question for me to Aaron.
Okay,
And because I don't see why a SPAC member could not observe the meeting. It's a public meeting.
oh, yeah, that's true.
So it's a lot of time. I will say it's a lot of time.
Sure,
So anyway, that's a question
Yeah.
that I'd like to raise to him.
and I'm happy with the work that you guys are doing. I'm just curious. I just want to see the designs and see.
Well,
who
we
the
have not
artists
seen,
and- Yeah,
the first phase, this was basically
This is written.
a 2-process thing.
yeah,
People submitted past work. Some of them gave some indication of what they might be thinking about, and then they responded to narrative questions.
right.
So there
No
was,
images, just
there are images of past work.
password only. Yeah.
So there was independent scoring. And then we convened as a group. Courtney Knox Bush, the deputy city manager, joined us.
Sarah,
Sarah from Hacker Architects
yeah,
joined us.
she's an interior design person.
Cool.
So, and then we went through really the highest, everybody, it was kind of like a high, low, medium, and then talked about it. It was a very productive meeting.
Yeah.
Everybody had done their homework. And, I expect the same thing. I think that Aaron gave them a deadline of the morning of the first day of the proposals
8:30 a.m.
Oh,
to
wow.
have their stuff. Yeah, well, then we were all reviewing it
Yeah,
kind of in real time.
yeah, I didn't know how all of this process works.
I
so
think we
it's good to know
do,
from you.
from what I understand is once we reach a final decision that we would like to present.
Yeah.
Then we present
present
that
here.
here for SPAC approval.
Yeah,
I think that's what I understood.
okay, cool.
Okay, moving along, Eco Earth Globe. Okay.
I don't have anything a whole lot new to present. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather. Just healing up anyways, so. Obviously funding's the most important thing here and we need that to move forward. So I saw the city is funded 112K at the start, and then there's 300K in grants.
We have about 300,000. That is assuming now the state grant, the CREF grant, that is the deadline for that. The city needs to do the work and then present the bill to them. But that grant is ended the 30th of June, 2027. So the the clock is ticking on that one. And we're just holding $150,000. I think probably now it's up to about 151,000 for the Eco Earth.
Okay.
And until, the thing about it is the fundraising, if you're looking to us, we will need something to take to grantors. In other words, we'll need, the city is gonna, like, we've adopted this estimate and we're gonna need this much and here's the work scope. Before we can apply for more money to any grantors. And there's some definite, the OCF grant came out, I think I emailed you about that. So there's some coming down the pike, but until we have some kind of plan to present to them, we really can't move forward that way. We can still leave our donation sites open for citizens that want to donate, and people do continue to donate. But that's kind of where we're stuck right now is we need something to grant people. And I don't know who's responsible for that. I don't know what Public Works is or if the SPAC people are. I don't know who puts that kind of document together.
We have two estimates, right? Is there one over the other that Public Works recommends?
That's a good question. I just, being in engineering, I work on other projects as well. I am just not an expert. And I've been working with Aaron Kimsey on this as well, and he feels the same way. And so both consultants that we've hired to do the assessment, I feel have done a good job. Obviously, one is more than the other cost-wise, but that's because the one was less, for example, didn't include certain scopes. And so when you add those scopes and one of them still less than the other by about $200,000 or so. But yeah, as far as the consultants go, I mean, they're both pretty consistent in their reports. So,
Can I ask a question? So $196,000 of the estimate is related to the asbestos. And Design Solutions Incorporated said that they wanted to make sure that absolutely had to be done before they put that in the work scope. That's why they omitted it. And that's a very big question to me. Do we really have to deal with the asbestos, or can it be contained and covered like they did the first time?
We do have to deal with it.
So and that's the engineering opinion. You have to remove the asbestos and do the abatement.
Right.
Okay, so that helps. I mean, I would think that would help you all too when you put together the proposal. And I don't know, when I say you all, I honestly don't know who's responsible for putting together their proposal. I don't know if it's the engineers at Public Works or if it's SPAC, which would be you, Chris, right? If it were, or I don't know if it's a team effort, but it's very important that it get done. The sooner it gets done, the sooner we can start raising money.
I think the basic issue right now is whether the city has the interest in moving
Yes.
forward with this project.
Yes, absolutely.
And I have been at the Globe for the last few weeks. The parks folks do a spectacular job of maintaining the park, spectacular. However, inside the fence of the Echo Earth Globe, it is a mess. It is full of weeds. Even the concrete base is full of debris, dried moss, there's litter. I mean, I took pictures, I was there yesterday. But what I am not hearing from the city of Salem right now, and I sat next to Linda at one of the citizen budget meetings, Chris was there. I'm not hearing like, we've got to do this. This is important. We heard from Roger Gurdenrich over the weekend. He was very articulate speaker. I'd never heard him speak, even though I was here when I don't know if he was mayor when he was here, but saying like, this should be a pride and joy of our city, and it's falling apart. So that's the first step. Then there's the money part. I mean, as I said to someone yesterday, because she asked me, like, what happens if this goes away? And I said, that would be very, very, very sad for our city.
But if it goes away, that will cost money too.
That's exactly what I said. I said to repurpose this site, which is at the nexus of all of these circulation points in the most used park in our city, it would probably cost more than $1.5 million.
It would be really, I think that's the other thing that maybe you or both of you needs to get an estimate for, is what would it cost, to take this thing away? What would it cost? I mean, because I assume that even if it goes away, the asbestos will still have to be dealt with. So that's $196,000 right there.
Yeah, we're not gonna solve this today.
Right.
However, I happened to go down to look at the Echo Earth Globe. 2 women with video cameras were standing by with a tripod. I said, hello, are you here in any official capacity? Turns out one of them is the right word, Brian, like an independent filmmaker connected with CC Media.
Mm-hmm.
She's not on the payroll, but they train people. We got into a conversation about the Echo Earth Globe. I said, by the way, there's going to be an event on Saturday. You can show up. She showed up. She filmed the whole thing. She is conducting interviews with people. I spent an hour with her yesterday. She is talking to Mary Heinzman, the original project manager, right now at the Echo Earth Globe. She is working. She expects to get her film footage. She's going to edit it. She told me yesterday, she thought this might be a 20-minute film. Now it might be a 40-minute thing. She's going to finish it by early June. She talked to folks in the park, She asked really good questions. I said, do you have questions for me? And she said, yes, I do. So I think we have to, we're citizen volunteers. We have the ability to talk with people. Some people care about the Earth Globe, some people don't. But I'll tell you, the number of people we were talking for so long that 3 guys who looked like they were on a track team passed us 4 times, and there were strollers, there were people on bikes, there were people on scooters. The earth belongs to all of us. And if people in Salem care, we should find $1.5 million. It's not insurmountable.
So let's take a look at this. So the mural itself on the Echo Earth Globe is part of the public collection.
Right.
That's underneath SPAC's purview. Is that particular piece of artwork in its current condition worth renovating and restoring? Is it worth, does SPAC want to stand up and say, yes, we think the $1.5 million is the target that we should be going to fund for replacing this because we value that artwork? Or is that mural that's on there
that public art collection piece doesn't need to be decommissioned because it's in such a terrible state and has to be completely removed. What is it that the SPAC wants to do with that particular artwork?
It seemed like a given that we've been supporting it. However, do you need an official motion that SPAC supports the
That helps.
renovation of the Eco Earth Globe for the $1.2 million and that we plan to
I'd go
do whatever we
1.5.
can.
Go with
Go
the- I would go with
Yeah,
the
let's
higher
be
amount.
conservative.
Does that include maintenance as well?
Maintenance plan, they'll deliver a plan on what needs to happen, but it doesn't include specifics on this person or this entity is gonna be doing the maintenance.
What about the price of maintenance, the cost of maintenance?
I'm not sure that we have the cost of maintenance, but these estimates that have come to the city are predicated on the fact that ongoing prescribed cleaning needs to happen. That hasn't happened to date. That's why we got to where we are. And even I served 2 terms on SPAC before my current term. The city, no cleaning has happened in probably a 6-year period. You can see the moss. The moss is so old that it's grown, it's dried in the hot weather, and it is now at the base where anybody with a broom could actually just go in, sweep it up. You know, there's just.
And for that maintenance would come out of the public art fund.
See, that's what I'm
Because
asking
it's
that
part of the
question,
collection.
yeah. Because at the presentation to council,
You know, I
On the
just hate to-
27th.
I hate to leave right now. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. I have to leave.
Linda,
Thank
can
you.
you outline exactly what you need from us to move
Yes.
forward to apply for
I'll send
grants?
it an
So that we
email.
can know what
Yeah,
decisions you
and-
need to make, what you need from us.
Yeah. And I'll
That's
see you
important.
tonight and I'll bring buttons.
Okay,
Thank you
good.
all
Thank
so
you.
much.
When I presented to council and Linda and,
Councilman Zerko?
no, Linda and, no, the other.
Carol Steiner.
Carol, sorry. Also presented public comment before we gave the presentation about the Eco Earth Globe. They did a great job discussing everything that's pertinent that we've discussed. The question from Councillor Tigan, who was very supportive of all the art going on and the need for art and understanding how it benefits the economy and the community about maintenance. It was like he wanted to make sure that for all of the art, he even talked about paintings, which I don't know how much maintenance you need for a painting on a wall other than dusting it, but there should be funds and a plan in place for every single artwork that the city owns. So that was and I don't think we've done that before. There may be maintenance plans for the cube, I don't know, but you know, it seems like we're like whack-a-mole. When something happens, we say, okay, who's gonna fix it? How much is gonna cost, whatever, but if there's some kind of strategic plans for maintenance for the art collection, including the Eco Earth Globe or anything new that we repair or bring on. So, and there needs to be, he said, is there some kind of endowment for that? Is there, you know, what are the plans for?
That is the public
future
art
maintenance?
funds. That is what the public art fund is established for, is for maintenance and purchase and administration of the city's, the public art.
Chris, I've got a question for you. So you commented shortly after the globe was constructed initially, there was maintenance that was being done at some point then?
I don't know the answer to that, but Mary Heitzman could tell us.
I'm just wondering, I think where the big hangup was, and Mayor and I were talking about this, somewhere along the way, maintenance wasn't completed because one group said, oh, I thought you guys would take care of it. The other group thought you guys.
Right.
So somewhere along the way, the fingers are being
Correct.
pointed.
We don't know what-
And so obviously you want to avoid that through this. In the
Absolutely.
event that
Right.
things are restored and we're back to a spot that everyone's happy with, we obviously have to have plans in place. I'm just wondering what just happened before, I don't know. And so, yeah,
Probably, my guess is nothing.
okay.
And my guess is nothing. I mean, just think about your own house,
Mhm.
think about your own deck. You know, it rains, it warms up, moss grows, you go in use the other direction to get up to the deck. You know, things freeze, you know, then things thaw, then they swell up, then, you know, I mean, we live in a place where everything grows. I don't attribute it to anything more than that. And it's like the big thing that everybody thinks it's somebody else's job.
Sure.
I mean, the Public Art Commission has been indifferent. It was in the city manager's office. It got moved to Public Works. It got moved to Parks. Now we're back to
Community services.
community services. So, you know, it's like the big thing that everybody thinks that somebody else is vacuuming around, but in fact, nothing really happens. So, yeah, I can relate to Councillor Tigan's comments. The city does not have a master plan for public art. Here we are, where it would be great to have a bunch of these things. And yeah, I mean, the list of things to address is getting longer. I was a public funder for decades. When you get a grant request from any jurisdiction, the first thing you want to know is, does this matter to, you know, the city of Bend or the city of Astoria? If we could get that kind of indication from our city, it would be great. I always assumed that SPAC supported the repair and the conservation of this giant work of art. So if we need a motion to that effect, I'd be happy to make it.
I want to make some comments
sounds-
Please do.
before we make a motion, because
Yeah.
because yeah, my main concerns are, and I did bring this up when I think the original estimate, or both of them were presented to us, is this question we've been talking about, the maintenance plan and what it entails and how much it's gonna cost annually, because if we're gonna pay for it, especially, I have to know before I'm gonna back it, what that annual commitment would be, because I don't want us to get in the same position in another 10 or 20 years. It's super important, as much as I love it. And I think the added question of, because the public is very unaware of all of the details in general, but removing it completely, how much would that cost? Because they're like, I don't know if anybody else noticed, but the social commentary on social media was not good for
Yeah,
the Globe.
That's what I heard.
And they're like, burn it, or, you know, I got some gas and a lighter and I can get rid of that for free in a day. Now, that was social media that is very exaggerated and they're not serious to an extent. I don't think anybody was actually planning that. But they're very unaware that even getting rid of it is a substantial amount. And that's why we're like, well, if it's 700,000 to get rid of it, how about 150 or 1.5, you know, to fix it? But then what's the long term? Because that's not the end of the conversation, and we have to know what that is before I can say absolutely. Personally, I love the Globe and I do want to see it, but I don't have all the facts.
And I can get that information I can get. And
Okay, because I think we're gonna have to answer to the public too.
Sure.
Like, why did you back this?
that makes
And
sense.
how much is it gonna cost? And if I say, well, I don't really know, that makes us look not great.
And the maintenance too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
What, you know,
So I'm gonna dig into the annual maintenance costs after restoration. And then I'm also gonna dig into removing the Globe as whole. And so when I say removing, you, by that, do we mean there's nothing there anymore? I mean, do I get a cost for it's gone, that it's completely
Maybe
empty?
there's a couple phases, stripping it down, back down to the chrome or whatever it
there's some
was.
people
Getting rid of the
yeah.
asbestos for sure.
Yeah, just
We have to
bring it
do all
back.
that, but strip it down to the original.
and then leaving just
Or-
a metal ball there,
Yeah.
getting it back to that
back to the
stage. Okay.
acid ball.
Yeah,
I
and some
And then
people,
maybe what is it,
What it's
100% gone.
right,
That way it gives people an idea of like, look, these are real costs of the stages
right.
that are real, not your fantasy of.
One way, one direction or another, you're gonna have to spend this month.
Yes, yeah, I think that would give us a lot more information. We could talk to the public, we talked about a public
Public meeting.
meeting or what did you, call it, Chris?
We talked about a public meeting. It
Yeah,
is really unfortunate
like outreach.
that we have delayed from the Public Art Commission convening a public conversation.
Yeah, because it's kind of
So
gotten
that-
out of control.
So one of my friends who is a library advocate threw something up on social media complaining about the 1.5 million, which those channels bring out the trolls in our city.
Yeah.
They are there every day throwing out the most ridiculous, things about whatever. So we lost control of that conversation. That is really unfortunate. And if you walk around the globe, even though some of the descriptive panels are missing, who knows what ever happened to them? They're gone.
And they're fading too.
They're in very poor condition. There are hundreds of businesses and individuals and groups that funded this thing, with real money. And there was a steering committee. I took a picture. I never saw that till yesterday. But some of those individuals are still in town and alive. And some of them may have the resources to, step in with something considerable. But I think the other thing is the question of who's in charge, who is a project, who is the point person in city government who is making the decisions about this.
I don't think it's even been presented to council other than, the public comment. I mean,
SPAC is the advisory to city council
right,
on these type of topics.
right. So so you would need a motion now, just a show of support.
If you want to continue discussing it before you decide which direction you want to go with that, or if you want to hear additional information to determine which direction you want to go with that. That's what would need to happen eventually, is to have a motion to provide. This is the direction from SPAC as advisory to council. We're recommending X, Y, Z, whatever that may be, whether that's decommissioning of the public art piece that's on that ball, whether that's going through removal, complete removal, or just resurfacing asbestos abatement, or complete restoration, or as the editorial suggested, doing an LED version of the public art on it.
Who suggested that?
There was an editorial in the newspaper that
Which newspaper?
I think was Salem Reporter,
Was
I
it?
think.
These are similar to the Las Vegas, what they have in Las Vegas.
Correct.
I thought that was a comment that was made on social media by a citizen, was that an editorial comment from the,
That's my understanding, it was an editorial comment.
could
So
you,
they wrote
could
that
you
up.
circulate that to SPAC?
Sure.
I saw a comment about LED lights, but I thought it was a social media comment.
Yeah, that's where I saw it.
On Yeah, I don't have subscribed to Salem Reporter, so I can't get past their paywall for most articles. But
I'll forward what I received.
was someone else, I mean, sometimes there are crazy good ideas. Someone else suggested that sphere be used for live performance, the way the sphere in Vegas is used.
Right.
So it's like, okay, great, that not gonna work. Plus, hello, 500 feet away, we got an amphitheater,
Well, I think that's what they were talking about too in that editorial, was that you could
companion.
companion it, that the light works on the LED globe is in sync with whatever's happening
How
on the
much would
stage.
that cost? I mean, to
They
turn it
did actually provide some estimates of what the
Really?
costs, yeah.
okay.
Well, I
But it's the ongoing
see that.
maintenance
Yeah, I
costs
haven't
that
seen,
would
I
be
I get
much
Salem
more.
Reporter every day, but I didn't see.
Well, it
anything
could have been the Salem Business Journal too.
Yes,
There is the Salem
actually-
Reporter and
Oh,
the
yeah.
Salem
Oh,
Business
Salem
Journal.
Business
I think you're right about that. I think it was the business
So-
journal.
Oh, okay.
Because that's where I think I maybe saw it on their social media,
Yeah.
but that's via their editorial.
I don't
So-
know, you know,
It was an
take a
editorial.
closer look at the Globe when we were there for the photograph. It's a tremendous amount of artwork that was put into that. I mean, even the panels that surrounded on the bottom, there are these rectangular panels that I never noticed before. Each one of them are an exquisite work of art that tell a story, and the entire Globe tells a story, and the work that was put into it, and it's a, you know, it was really an excellent example of public art, period. I mean, and something we should really support and be proud of. And I'd be willing at this point to say that we support it without further estimates. I think that will supply information that we can get out to the public and present to the public. We can do a presentation and invite the public for information so that they really know what's going on. But I think if you need a solid support to bring to council and say SPAC recommends this, because they're working on the budget right now. They need to know that right away.
I move that the Public Art Commission encourage the city to explore all options for the restoration and conservation of the Echo Earth Globe.
It's a good way to put it. You have a second?
Just, what was it? Do I save it for
To
discussion?
explore all options to preserve and conserve the Echo
Okay.
Earth Globe. That means we want to keep looking at options for the restoration, and I'm assuming that that would include looking for money for it. But again, I was a public funder. If the city is wishy-washy, no funder is going to give you a big grant.
Right.
That's just the way it works.
Yeah. It's true.
And no donor wants to be hanging out there if the city thinks, well, great, I
Pull the
can,
rug and you.
I can tip it over, or I'm gonna turn it into a colored light show. This is not about a colored light show.
I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Anyone opposed? Abstaining? Motion is passed. Great, I just assumed that was over. I give it, but I guess we need to be official.
Gotta make it official.
Okay, you did
Assumptions.
official, all right. Anything else about, I just wanted to say, is there any way that, you know, the weeds, I was so busy looking at the globe, I didn't notice the weeds, but I did notice that there are tiles that are all laying around. Who is responsible for that now?
So Jeff Ball is the main maintenance lead with the Parks Department that oversees the riverfront. I could ask him about it. Him and I are in contact.
Is there a question about maybe not getting in or something?
No, we have keys to get in within the
Okay.
black gate. That's not the problem. I think the problem at one point was getting within the globe. There's a little hatch at the base of the
No,
globe.
they're on the ground.
Okay.
Both, I call them the field tiles that make up the ocean.
Mhm.
There are whole and broken field tiles. There are mostly large fragments of what they call the icon tiles, the handmade individual pieces.
Right.
And they're in 2 or 3 sections. I can send some photographs. I took some photographs yesterday.
I've reached out and contacted Noe,
Yes.
park supervisor for that area, and given Mary Heinzman his number.
Yeah, that's,
And Mary says she'll go ahead and collect those.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of coordination, Jeff or Noe
Right. Right.
opening that up for
I'll
Mary to
let
get
them
that up.
Yeah.
Because I talked with Jeff before and he's like, well, I can go take a look and see, but he just collects them, but he doesn't know who to send them to or what to do with them.
Mary's.
And Mary said she would accept those.
yeah,
And from what we understand, she's having new ones created also with school children or something?
I think-
It was mentioned.
I mean, I think primarily artists who are not kids they made the icons at the beginning. You know, or most 90% of them. So
There is, so we should have images of that too, so if we put together some kind of a visual presentation, it would be good to show that as well, what's.
And I can, like I said, I can touch base with Jeff and see if he can clean up within the confines of the black stripes. I didn't know, that's the first time that's been brought to my attention about weeds. I knew that the tiles had fallen.
Yeah.
Because over time, I mean, and they're falling at a
Yeah,
faster rate. I mean, it's deteriorating quickly.
Very
Somebody
quickly.
needs to
So much so that
regularly
parks will not do
go
any
in
cleaning
there.
on it because they don't want to damage the
Right, yeah, but as far as
They're not experts in how to maintain.
Yeah.
it.
Right,
that's a good thing. But the stuff that's on the ground,
Yeah.
there's a
Stuff on the
round
ground should be-
concrete pedestal, they
Yes.
could just sweep that up.
Even the bushes inside there could be used trimmed up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll bring that up. I'm not a parks employee. I don't want to
yeah, right.
dictate what they do, but I'll bring that up and then I'm sure it'll get over to Jennifer Keller, who's the parks.
Yeah.
I also noticed that the signage about the restoration and the QR code and everything. If I understand it, the way I saw it, it's not really visible, like if you're going to walk across the bridge. You have to actually go down and it's on the sort of backside of all that signage, it's not, is there, I mean, I would think it should be visible from somebody walking in the park. It doesn't have to actually come down and.
There are two sets of signs.
There are.
Oh, so there are signs that
Yes,
are on the other
there's
side.
signs on both sides.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I'm
didn't
not
see
sure if
that.
that was Salem Parks Foundation that was putting them up or not. We got
There's,
to take a walk up there, a couple different places around it.
the take a walk sign should come down now. It was up yesterday. The ongoing signs, there are two ongoing signs which should remain.
They actually need to be updated with the new dollar amount.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Because the
well,
one shows that, hey, we're almost to this $400,000 goal.
right,
And it just looks like we just need a little bit more, but
there should be
In
new
reality, that needs to
signs
be
and really,
to the 1.5 million.
with that QR code as big as possible for donating, because we had, there were people going, how do we do it? How do we donate? So, I think, yes, I think that the primary,
I don't know who prints those up, so I'd have to do some more research to identify that. Like, I was thinking it's Salem Parks Foundation.
they may have done one. There's a city logo on one of them. I might have a picture in my phone I could send over to you.
if you need any assistance with designing.
I think they're designed. I mean, I think they're existing files.
Yeah, I think
So
so.
is
too.
it a new, but is there, with the new information, they need to be revised?
Yeah, there's.
Well, whoever created them should be able to do
See
that.
who created them.
Yeah.
But if you.
Linda Beerley will know.
Okay, anything else with Eco Earth Globe? Anybody? Krista, you want to talk to us about condition reports? Hopefully we'll be able to hear you.
Yes. I was actually going to, Chris, I'm going to try and rejoin the Zoom on my computer. It was just updating at the beginning of the meeting, so that's why I did it on my phone. But if you can just let me back into the meeting and then I can share my screen with you guys. I'm going to do that right now.
Recording in progress.
While she's doing that, one other thing about the Eco Earth Club, all of the panels with the information and the donors and everything, that's all gonna need to be redone too. So that should be included in the cost. Somehow.
Okay, hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Still kind of faint, but we can hear you.
Okay, I'll talk loud. Okay, so I have put together a new inventory report form. So we have not been consistent in using any sort of inventory report form in our database in general. Only a handful of the artworks currently have any sort of inventory report form. and very few have any actual condition report information. So what I've done is created a new form that we could use across the board for all of the artworks in the collection. And so I can kind of share with you what I have created. So, let me just pull it up on here. Okay, so this is what I would propose that we start using to document all of the artworks. So essentially every time that we go through and look at an artwork, we would fill this form out. So we would document who reports it from our team. We would document the date, and we would add the location or update that if the location has changed. You'll see just basic information in here, object name, number, that's based on the number it has in the database currently. Artist, date, medium, dimensions aren't really listed in most of the places, but that would be something easy to be able to update on our end. Frame details, and then right below here, notes on condition. So that's where we would make any notes about the current status of the artwork. And then you'll also see on the right-hand side, there's a priority key. So this is if we know that an object is in need of conservation, or if we assume that that's going to happen soon, we can then also kind of keep track and prioritize things based on that priority. We would then have a photograph of each artwork down here, and then this is where we would be making localized notes. So kind of all the potential options of the condition, anything that might have been damaged or even inherent to the work. And I will show you as well kind of a filled out version that I've done in the past, just so you can kind of see what it would look like when it is completed. This was just back when I was working at the museum. But you can just see kind of what it looks like then once it's done. So essentially you'll have the notes on the condition, and then on here you'll see those specialized and localized notes. So you can then also take additional photographs, which I would put under here, that have detail images for all of those. And then this way, years moving forward, we would have an idea and understanding of what the current condition of all the artworks are. If there's anything new to add, you can do that, and you can do that by date right here, as you can see. So that was a later date that we found something else. So that is what I would propose we do, is some sort of more official form like this, whereas right now I'll show you what we currently have. But again, very few of the artworks are actually utilizing this. So this is what we currently have as our art inventory form. You'll see right here, there's just a very small portion of anything to do with the condition, but there aren't photographs of it. There's really not a lot of detail on it. So it is why I would propose we have a more formal condition report itself. And then that way we just have a much better understanding of the condition of all of our artworks. So,
Do we currently have those forms for all of the artwork?
no, only maybe 10 have them.
10?
Yeah, it's not a lot.
And is that because someone's filled one out when something's been damaged?
No, not necessarily. It's very randomized.
Okay. Would
Yeah.
the Melcat sculpture be one of those pieces that would have any?
Let me look real quick. I
any
have
notation?
the database.
Just wondering.
Yeah,
'Cause
let
that
me
might
see.
be
I had it up.
It would be great if it was actually, if the previous repair was actually documented.
Usually
I
they're
think your
not.
suggestion looks good.
Yeah, usually they haven't been. If there has been in some sort of conservation, that's been kind of a separate document that's been uploaded. But again, like this is a really great way that we can also then just have every time we make one, we just have a running list, and it allows us to really see the condition progress and address anything that we need to address. So, so yeah, my proposal would be to do this. I think once a year is reasonable. And that way, again, we just all have a much better understanding of the current state of the city's collection.
Is this an electronic form?
It is right now, yeah. So basically what I would propose is all of this gets uploaded to the drive. So currently in the drive for the Public Art Commission, each artwork has a folder associated with it. And within those folders, some of them have photos, some of them have these forms, some of them have press clippings, some of them have email correspondence, some of them have provenance information. But essentially then within each folder, we would have a condition report section. And then within that, we would have this form in there. We would have more detailed photographs. So that way it's much more consistent and standardized.
Does that link to the database in any way, or could it?
So it doesn't right now, but that was one thing that we had talked to Keith formally about, and many people formally about essentially using seeing if the GIS had capability to upload these kinds of forms into them. So that was one thing. Sorry, there's a tractor going behind me. Seeing if these are the kinds of things that we would be able to utilize the current database for, or if that is something where it's really not part of the capabilities. And that was part of that conversation of whether or not we could use what they currently have in place, or if we needed to look for our own collections management system. And so those were kind of the conversations we were having when then Chris mentioned that they're kind of doing an overhaul of all the IT in the database. So, but at least in the meantime, before we know that, I think this is still something that we can get going on. We can still keep it in the drive folders. And then whenever we do figure out what makes the most sense in terms of database management, we'll at least have all of this readily available.
Is this something that only you have access to, or does everyone else have access to it?
So I think everybody has access to the OneDrive. I don't know. Do you all have access to that?
No, I've never seen those.
I haven't
maybe
either.
not. So yes, I think it's something all of us should have access to. It's just a Google Drive. You need a code that the city will send you when you log in every time. But that was something Keith sent me a long time ago, and it just has all those different folders in it. And it also has the Excel sheet that's kind of the current database overview. So yeah, I think that's something that, Chris, if you're okay with it, I think that's something that makes sense for everyone on SPAC to have access to.
I think I need to get access to it. I don't know that I have access.
Okay, great.
Is it a city managed Google Drive?
Yeah.
You
Oh.
should give yourself access.
Yeah, I have to give myself access
Yeah.
or something.
And so would those folders include the label content, for example, for all the pieces at the library?
Yes, it does.
Great.
Yeah.
Because we now have, we updated all those labels.
Yeah.
All 142 of them.
Yeah.
We changed it to the format that we had talked about, and we added that they were donated by the foundation. So Chris has those files now.
Okay.
That he's gonna be getting to a printer, but those probably should get uploaded to
Definitely.
that drive wherever
Yeah.
that is.
Definitely.
Out of curiosity, since we're talking about the labels and we're talking about this, you said an object number that's based on the art piece.
Yeah.
Would that be something that we want to have included on the labels themselves?
No, that's really just for our own personal, that's just how it's labeled on the Excel sheet right now. But that doesn't need to be on a label.
And
Yeah,
that
'cause
could
that's really just for
change.
our own, kind of our
Okay.
own organizational purposes. Yeah.
Okay.
But we had discussed like Hallie Ford does have I'm sure the museum, where you work too, has some kind of coding. So for
We
each
basically would
object.
just, we honestly, it was just when we got things in, there wasn't we labeled things ourselves, like we gave everything an arbitrary number. So yeah, that's really just more for our own organizational purposes. But yes, essentially whatever new works we get in, it would be the latest number, just kind of adding on to that for the object ID.
But you wouldn't see that as a need for the public art collection labels and stuff like that?
No, it could. I mean, again, if there's a situation where we make the database public and people have access to it, we would have it on that. But for labeling itself, I don't think there's a need for that.
So if someone wanted to find, let's say they went to a label at the library and saw the label, but they wanted to find out more about that particular artwork, when it was procured, whatever. How would they find that? Or would
I mean,
we-
again, I think that's like way down the line when we figure
Okay.
out, yeah.
Okay,
Um,
all right, so that's a whole nother.
yeah.
Okay.
But in those instances, I think we would still have things organized by location. So if people were in the library and, if we got the kiosk up and running or something like that, I think there's opportunity to make things easily findable. But at least right now, it's the object IDs. I think we're given arbitrarily just by someone from the city. Yeah. I haven't seen them listed actually anywhere other than on that Excel sheet.
I think that form looks very professional and it
Yeah.
seems to include everything, and I think we should adopt it. I don't know what the next steps would be though, to how to get them filled out and.
Well, it sounds like you can start filling them out at least with the picture of the item and
Yeah.
the title and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And then they'd be ready for somebody to fill in to do the review of what the condition is.
right.
Yeah,
Just
so
so-
I mean, what I could do before the next meeting is just put in the photographs of those. And then I know a couple people on the committee had mentioned they might want to come along and do this together and kind of learn what it's like to do a condition report. So then maybe we can find a day, maybe one day in the library, one day kind of in the civic center area or the convention center, and kind of whoever wants to come along, we can do these things together. It'll be a multi-step process, but yeah, I think the more people who feel comfortable doing it, the better. So.
And are you comfortable coordinating all that?
Yeah. So I think I can commit to, before the next meeting, filling in all the photographs of them. And then from there, perhaps at the next meeting, we can kind of propose a couple of dates and see who's interested and kind of make a schedule from there.
Right, and maybe between now and then, we can also find out about IT and our database and how we can update that and.
Yeah, Chris, I can
this
share
whole
you.
drive, just kind of get everything organized.
Yep.
so
Yeah,
we
Chris,
know
I'll
where to
share you
start.
the link that Keith originally sent me of the Google Drive. And yeah, we can see about getting that to everybody too. I can also at the next meeting too, just go through the drive with everybody and just kind of show everybody what's on there right now. Kind of what I would love to see in the future. So yeah, I'm happy to do that if you want to add that to the agenda for next time as well.
That'd
Just
be
a little
great.
walkthrough.
Thank you, Krista. Is there anything we need to formally do to accept this form as our condition report form?
I would say, motion and a second for adopting the form as presented to spec for future and ongoing condition reports.
So moved.
Second, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Abstaining?
Krista, could you just email me that form and I'll fill it out for the Melcats?
Yeah, absolutely.
While we're talking about this, I did go in the alley by the former Rudy's location and looked at the Damian Gilly mural. The mural is actually in very good shape. It is dirty. It would could use a gentle just hosing off on the street level portions. Remember, somebody from the city came and spoke with us about that mural and they wanted to destroy it. They did not. The windows above it are quite dirty. So it's dirty at the top and it's dirty at the bottom. So I can, you know what? I'll fill out a condition report and
Okay.
I'll turn it into Chris.
Great.
But you can see the city is doing some work on that alley at the end closer to Court Street. And, the idea is the alleys are going to be activated. So we should just make sure the art that is adjacent to them looks good.
And we do have a list of 8 pieces on our list here that probably are the first ones that we should do the condition reports on, since we know of them.
What are some of the others?
Let's see, the unicyclist, salmon in the city, vine maple and volcanic rock, a canvas that's torn, I don't know what that is. Majestic supremacy.
Who's that by?
It just doesn't say who it's by, it just says unsafe for high traffic areas. It's
Some-
staff, public works, it's in the office. And flying geese is also in the office of public works. I think those are the ones that Kathleen,
These are the ones
Left
that were
over.
stored in the
Yeah.
basement of the Civic Center. It,
right?
Yeah,
before
on
someone
my-
decides to repair them, I think that some of these pieces should be assessed for potential de-accessioning.
Yeah, the Majestic, Majestic
would not
Supreme,
be the
that was,
highlights
that
of the
one was
collection.
And the
not,
Waldo Stroh's
visible.
mural, which we do have some people who, I do have one person who is ready to give an estimate on repairing that. We probably need to get a couple of estimates.
I think we should get the condition reports written and
Condition
then,
reports for
then-
that.
yeah.
I'm sure there are more.
Then you can
out
rank
there.
your conditional reports in order with.
Priority. Mhm. Thank you, Krista. That's
Yeah,
a
thank
lot of
you.
work and
you.
really appreciate and all your experience and that you have under your belt that
absolutely,
really helped in having you do that too. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely.
Next we have,
You are over time.
we're over time, Art Wells,
Can I
yeah.
make a quick comment?
Yeah,
I
sure.
know earlier we were talking about how there's that hall in the public library where it's like now part of it is like the community space work. In the past, I've found my artwork from the community space hall where it was located with the DVDs and videos, CDs, stuff like that. And I know when I spoke to the person that handled all that section, she mentioned that the city of Salem doesn't really get involved because I don't know, there's something that has to do with them not promoting it. So basically they don't promote it and they don't really, the public doesn't know you're there unless you tell them somehow. So like, it would be nice if SPAC or the city of Salem could change things around and like actually help the community wall. And, it would be nice to see that. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. So we can help out the community artists, because that really gave me a platform when I was first starting. Like, it gave me confidence to continue to do my work. And I know others have experienced that, and it would be nice for them to get like some sort of like exposure.
Yeah, we don't really know what's going on there, what they do, and I remember seeing a big project that was done on it. It wasn't in that space, it was, and it was very contextual, like that there was content that people in the community responded to, and it was a powerful presentation. And I was wondering who was responsible for it, so it would be good to connect with the person who does that work, just for, yeah. It's not part, it wouldn't be concerning part of the public art collection, but because it is art, related from the community, I don't see why you couldn't help to promote it, at least at our meetings, we could talk about it and give whatever kind of other support that they may want.
And artists does bring up their work themselves, which I think it's good for them to do, so they can kind of learn how things work.
Yeah.
It's not necessary to get professionals really to come in and do it for them. Kind of get them somewhere.
So do they have any oversight at all from, is it just the library, like for labeling, like? if they
The
just
artist
put
labels
up-
it himself.
If they just put up a little piece of paper with pins,
Yeah,
does anybody say, hey,
there's no
How-
standards really.
yeah.
It's just kind of like you bring in what you have and then
Mhm.
however you can. This
Yeah,
is what we have available, this is the space.
Is there a time frame for how long you can stay there?
It's about a month.
Yeah.
They do it about a
Yeah.
month long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to bring that.
yeah,
I think that's a really good point, Jesus. The library, they've got a huge audience and
Yeah.
even use of agreeing to promote things by their social media, that would get out to a very large audience. Yeah.
I can reach out to the library and find out how they
Yeah.
promote the community law.
I think it's very, they do very little and the work is a wide variety of things, so.
I know one thing that they mentioned that was like big was like the artist gets to keep 100% of the sales. So if they sell their work,
Mhm.
they get to keep that money.
Mhm.
And I think that's one of the reasons why the city kind of didn't want to get involved because they're not getting anything from it. I think, I don't know,
Mm.
but it would be nice to also continue to allow the artists to get 100%.
Mhm. Did you sell anything when you had your show there?
I think I did a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know when
On my
when
second
the
time there, I did.
when the Oregon Artist Series Foundation had work would sell.
Yeah.
Not a ton, but it would sell.
Do you think it's worth it at the next meeting to invite a representative from the library, both about the kiosk and about their art hall, what's going on, how we can promote the collection there, better? I don't
We can
know.
always invite-
I do have to get going as well.
Okay, well,
I think
maybe
it's probably worth going to the library, like getting on their turf,
as.
as opposed to having
Representative.
somebody coming over here.
They might, I forget her name, Rachel, is that her name?
Rachel Collins is wonderful.
Yeah, she was so receptive and helpful, you know. So she would be, I don't know if it's her, I don't know if it's her bailiwick or not.
I do. Sorry, guys. We have a plumbing situation, so I have
Oh,
to.
no.
Plumber.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
so I'm
Good luck with
gonna-
that.
Thank you
Thank
all
you.
so much. And I'm gonna really
Talking
try
about
and
the
make the
art
next one in person too. So
All right.
What did she say?
She might be here in person. for you next time.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
great. It'd be great to see you. Okay.
Yeah.
I know, it's a high season for you.
we're getting into it, but thank you
Okay.
all so much.
Take care.
Thank
Okay.
you.
With that, we're gonna postpone the Artwell discussion till next meeting, and we will, any other further comments at all?
I would suggest inviting one of the West Salem folks to join us at our next meeting.
Oh, for the artwork.
The Artwell from West Salem. They had I would need to pull up the draft RFP that was put out. It sounds like they might
Yeah.
want to go a different route. But it would, I think, just helping us all understand what the intent of this is. Because the site is kind of isolated. Have you been, do you know the site over there?
I have not been over to the location. I've seen a picture of it.
Yeah. It's an area that's definitely, it's gonna see major changes. It's kind of in transition right now. But I think that at least on one side of the street, the development is in. You know, you just want to kind of manage people's expectations. It's not the greatest site. It's probably going to be seen by people driving as much as walking. And it's not a lot of money. So, and these sites are not,
Edgewater.
no, it's not on
It's on
Edgewater. It's on
Second.
Second.
Yeah.
But you go to Edgewater to get to Second, or
Yeah.
because you can't really. access
Second
it.
is parallel to Edgewater.
Yeah, and then there's, I forget the name of that street. that
I do
it's
too.
on the corner of, but there's a huge white wall right behind it. I don't think that's changing. I don't know. I mean, I think they should spend their money on a mural rather than.
Some of those buildings have been demolished. The one
Since we were there?
closer, yeah,
Oh,
Mm.
maybe it's not there anymore. I don't know, what are they putting there instead? It looked like
I-
a pretty substantial
There's a big wall
warehouse
behind
kind
They,
of building.
they took a big thing down.
Let's go
Someone
back.
suggested a mural for, it was closer to the Goodwill, I think. Anyway, I think it would just be good to have a conversation. If they're asking us for information, until we get better information from them,
Yeah.
we're not gonna be able to give them what they might need. That's all I'm saying.
I think with the Artwell pieces, it was, they want to, they have funding already existing available for making the purchase. My understanding with the Artwells is it's supposed to be public art, so it would be a piece that would be then provided to public art collection as far as I know.
Right, because it's city money.
Well, it's actually, it's not city, so there's different colors of money.
Mhm.
You have city money, then you have urban renewal money, then you have private investors that are providing, and this, as far as I know, is urban renewal money. Not, because there is a distinction between urban renewal and the city, even though technically they look a lot the same. But that being said, this would be, they've already got the funding available for the purchase. They just need to get SPAC's approval for whatever it is that gets purchased or put there
Mhm.
in that location.
What we were led to believe in the initial organization of this was that we were putting out the RFP for all three sites in one RFP. And that from that collection, that whatever we got submissions, that we would choose three artworks, keeping in mind which sites those would go on. The two sites downtown, in front of, what is it, Olivia's, and then on the corner with a lot 45 or whatever it is. And then
50.
lot 50, and then Salem, and that was a package that would go out, and that we would be involved similarly to the way that we've been involved with the Civic Center. So has that completely changed now?
So I wasn't aware of that thought process of doing a single RFQ for, it would be then multiple artists, or would it be a single artist?
No, it
No.
would be multiple artists.
Multiple artists submitting, then we'd get a pool, and from that pool, we would whittle it down, and they would also, they know that the various sites were noted in there, and there were photographs of the sites
And intended goals for the
for
project.
each one, there were intended goals. It was pretty well formulated. We were just waiting, from what I understood, was someone to manage the project.
Yeah.
On the staff end of it.
So
Well, I think that there were changes in urban development. Cherie Wardren retired.
Cherie did retire.
Yeah.
correct? So it would still be, urban renewal would still be in charge of everything. As far as coordination, the contracting, and the payment of the purchasing, because it's all underneath the funding is underneath their jurisdiction. What they would need, and I was looking over the policies and
We are talking about
guidelines.
this. You're okay staying for a while?
I can only stay for a few more minutes,
Yeah,
but
maybe we should table this till
Yeah.
next meeting. It's good, because this is a lot.
yeah,
But in the meantime, if you could take a look at the RFP that we've already put our input, and then what each of them have provided as far as the goals that they wanted, so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Mhm.
And then find out who would be the entity that would send this out to artists, to the way that the Civic Center was sent out, who would coordinate the way that Aaron and his team coordinated, so that.
Tori would be the Aaron, basically,
Okay,
and Tori would be taking care of that along with Derek, his other co-worker there in that area.
well, maybe Tori could come to the next meeting and we could discuss moving forward, because we've already put in a lot of time on this RFP.
yeah.
And it seems like it's a good way to go about doing it, to take care of all three of the
And
wells
this
at the
was,
time.
there was an RFP they put together with Kathleen.
No, it was
It was with Kathleen.
It was Kathleen, yeah.
It was with Kathleen. Do you have that?
I might have
I mean,
something.
I have
can-
it.
I can send it to you,
have it.
Chris. I'll send it to you later.
And I have all sorts of correspondence about it because I save everything. But so if there's anything, any
Okay.
information you need about that, but yeah, it was sort of ready to go, and then all of a sudden it was stopped right. I think it was before the pandemic or at the pandemic.
I
Around
think
that
it was,
time.
at first Cherie said there was an urgent need to spend this money.
Mhm.
And there were 3 sites. And then we talked with her, it's capital, so it doesn't
Expire.
expire at the end of the fiscal year. Then Cherie was approaching retirement, then there was a staff transition. And then things just kind of, because the money was not gonna go away, things just kind of stayed there. And, the reality is that these efforts, there isn't really the capacity for these one-of-a-kind projects to happen. There's no coordination. Nobody has the experience. And they don't understand necessarily that there is a thought process that has to go into these to get the results that you want. Like this corner is kind of a beleaguered kind of spot. That spending $25,000 might not even get you something that's going to be noteworthy.
Yeah.
But SPAC actually has some experience in these things, and it's just helping these people get to a point where they even know, like, how do you run a competition? What are your evaluation criteria? What are artists submitting? Contracting. I mean, I would assume that these people would be using contract documents that the city would have that have been vetted by professional legal team,
Correct.
what have you.
All of our we have a contracts and procurement team.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They have
Yeah.
these templates and everything else that's being used for that.
Well, with the Civic Center project, I think it could be easily translated to this.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because
Right.
it's all been done.
But I will say that the city does provide for a variety of procurement methods. So for the convention center, when there was a kitchen remodel that generated